Hello, children. Welcome to Enjoy Stories. In this series, we will be reading one story every episode. This is a part of my effort to encourage children to take to reading and collect books. Wishing all the very best. Today, we will read the story Treasure Island. This is an abridged version of the adventure novel by Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson. He tells the story of pirates and buried gold. It is considered a coming-of-age story and is noted for its atmosphere, characters, and action. It has been one of the most dramatized and adapted of all novels in numerous media. Young Jim Hawkins lived at his parents' inn, the Admiral Benbow, near Bristol, England. Jim's father's health was deteriorating for some time, and so Jim and his mother had to manage the sleepy seaside inn. All was well until one day a mysterious and ragged old seaman appeared at their doorstep. He was a tall, strong man with a long pigtail and a big white scar across one cheek. He dragged a large sea chest with his scarred hands that had black, broken nails. "My name is Billy Bones," he said. "I want a room for a few days." "Sure, sir, this way," replied Jim and showed him the room. "This is the perfect place for me to stay," declared Billy when he heard that Jim got very few visitors. Over the next few weeks, Billy stayed at the Admiral Benbow, often singing a song, 15 men on a dead man's chest, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum. However, Billy had a fear for a one-legged man, and he continually asked Jim to keep a lookout for him. One day, a mysterious and ragged man caught Jim and forced him to take him to Billy. Jim had to obey. The man was Blind Pew, an evil and sinister pirate who was blinded in a pirate attack. Pew gave Billy the Black Spot, a secret pirate message which officially pronounced a verdict of guilt and promised a death sentence for the recipient. No sooner had Blind Pew left than Billy died of a stroke. When Jim and his mother saw Billy dead, they were filled with shock and fear. "He did not pay our bills for long," said Jim, hastily unlocking Billy's sea chest. "Let me see if I can find something here." But all he could find was an account book and a map inside. Just then they heard footsteps outside. It was a gang of evil pirates led by Blind Pew. They had returned to look for the same map. Before the pirates ransacked the inn, Jim and his mother picked up the map and escaped through a secret door. They had also informed the soldiers of the threat to the inn. Soon, some soldiers arrived, and Pew was crushed beneath the horses' hooves. Meanwhile, Jim carried the map to Squire Trelawney and Dr. Livesey, the two acquaintances whom he admired and trusted the most. The map is not an ordinary one," said Livesey, reading the map carefully. "It contains the clue to reach the fabled treasure that Captain Flint owned. The treasure was buried on Skeleton Island in the West Indies." "Captain Flint?" "The most cruel and heartless pirate to sail the seven seas!" exclaimed Squire Trelawney. Jim missed a breath as he heard this. "Don't worry, my boy, he's dead," said the doctor, much to Jim's relief. The three planned to go in search of the treasure. The squire bought a ship called Hispaniola. He also hired a good crew led by Captain Smollett, and soon Hispaniola set sail. Interestingly, the cook was a one-legged man named Long John Silver. He was admired by everyone but the captain. In fact, Captain Smollett doubted the entire crew, and his doubt was not in vain. One night, hiding in a huge apple barrel, Jim overheard Silver talking to the rest of the crew. "We shall kill all the others on board," said Silver. Jim also came to know that Silver was actually a pirate. He and most of the crew had once been members of Captain Flint's crew. "So, this is the one-legged man Billy was afraid of," thought Jim. He immediately warned the doctor, squire, and the captain about the evil plans of the crew. The group made counter plans as the ship headed towards the island. "Let them not know that we are aware of their plans," said Captain Smollett. Landing at the island, he sent most of the crew ashore, allowing them leisure time. Meanwhile, unable to control his excitement, Jim sneaked into the pirates' boat and went ashore without telling his companions. Suddenly, he heard a gunshot and hid in the bushes. Silver had killed one of his men. Shocked at this, Jim ran deeper into the woods covering the island. There, he met a strange-looking man with sunburned skin and black lips. He was clothed with the tatters of old ship's canvas and old sea clothes. "My name is Ben Gunn," said the man. "I am an ex-pirate. 3 years ago, my crewmen abandoned me on this lonely island." Jim found Ben trustworthy and told him the story of his coming to that island. Ben had left piracy and reformed himself. He promised to help Jim and his friends. Meanwhile, the captain and the others had left the ship and hid themselves in an old stockade on the island. But the pirates quickly realized that their plans had been discovered. They attacked the captain and others in an attempt to get the treasure map. However, they didn't succeed. For the time being, the captain and friends were safe in the stockade. Jim managed to enter the stockade and was reunited with his friends. Night fell. They spent an uneasy time in their hideout. No one could sleep for a second in the fear of being attacked and killed by the pirates. Next morning, Silver approached the stockade waving a white flag, the sign of truce. It could be a trap, doubted the captain. Just then, Silver announced, "If you give me the treasure map, I will spare your lives." "No way," said the captain, and Silver got angry. Another gunfight followed. Captain Smollett and many others were injured. In the meantime, Jim escaped from the stockade without telling others. Ben Gunn had told him about a boat in which he had hidden himself. Jim found the boat and sailed out to Hispaniola. The pirates should not reach the ship, thought Jim. He cut the ship's mooring ropes and fell asleep in the boat. In the morning, Jim's boat drifted in the rough sea weather. Luckily, Jim escaped from drowning. Suddenly, he spotted Hispaniola and boarded it. Somehow, Jim managed to steer the ship into a tiny cove. He ran back to join his friends. But lo, the stockade was now in the hands of Silver and his gang. Silver caught Jim and grinned. "Better you join us, chap." "I won't," Jim snorted. "Kill that silly boy," shouted Silver's men, pouncing at Jim. "No, I say," Silver cried, forcing his men to retreat. "Look here, Jim," said Silver softly. "The doctor gave me the map and I let him go. Now I am on the side of the doctor." Silver's words agitated the rest of his gang. "You have cheated us, Silver," they cried. "We will give you the black spot." Silver cried to warn them. Said Silver, "The map is with me. You will lose the treasure." The pirates withdrew. The next day, all of them began the treasure hunt together. Jim was also dragged along. The weather was rough and dry. Following the map, the troop reached the spot where the treasure was thought to be hidden. They started digging the place, but after hours and hours of digging, all they could get was a huge empty pit. The pirates were mad with anger. "Where is the treasure? Is it with this crew?" they shouted, pointing at Jim. Silver smelled trouble and quickly gave Jim a pistol to defend himself. "Let's get him first," cried the pirates, charging at Silver. Suddenly, there was a shot from the woods which killed one of the pirates. The doctor and Ben Gunn emerged from the woods. The rest of the pirates escaped and ran to get the boat. But Jim was there before they could reach the boat. Jim and his friends captured the boat and sailed to Hispaniola. The doctor and Ben Gunn heaved a sigh of relief. But Jim was still anxious. "Where is the treasure?" he exclaimed. "I hope the map was not a hoax." "Ha ha! It wasn't, dear Jim," said Ben Gunn, laughing. "The treasure had indeed been hidden there until I dug it out some months ago. It is safe in my cave." "I knew this," added the doctor, "and so I didn't hesitate to give the map to Silver. Ha ha!" All this while, Long John Silver pretended to be good and helpful. Jim did not mind the one-legged man's presence, since he had saved him from the other pirates. They all went to Ben's cave and lifted the treasure. Jim led everyone to the cove where he had berthed Hispaniola. The treasure was carefully transported onto the ship. Finally, the Hispaniola set sail and left the treasure island. Jim and his friends first went to America to get more crewmen. They stayed there for a night. The morning was relaxed, rather lazy. The action came in only when Ben realized that silver was missing. And that was not all. He had taken along some gold coins too. Ha ha ha, laughed the doctor. Let him have his bit. Not shocking at all, said Captain Smollett. I had smelt rat long before. That one-legged man was no less than a crook, a typical pirate. Well, sighed the doctor, no more adventures. Finally, everyone returned home. They all received their fair share of the treasure and planned to use it in the best possible way. The captain made a full recovery. Ben Gunn became a respectable citizen. All of them were happy, and the happiest of them was Jim's mother. She had been anxiously waiting for Jim all these days. When she saw Jim, tears rolled down her eyes. I'm glad you're safe, son, she cried, hugging him. Lots of adventures, mother, Jim chirped, and lots of tales to be told. Yes, yes, nodded Jim's mother. Take a breath first. Both of them shared a nice laughter for some moments. As for Long John Silver, no one heard of him ever again. I'm sure you all have enjoyed reading the story along, children. Do subscribe to my channel and share it with your family and friends. We will meet again with another story. Thank you.